I think as President Biden highlighted, there are official processes around determinations of genocide, but I think it's absolutely right that more and more people be talking and using the word genocide in terms of what Russia is doing, what Vladimir Putin has done. The use of targeted attacks against civilians, against hospitals, against maternity wards, against train stations filled with people fleeing, the deliberate use of sexual violence against the Ukrainian population as a way of creating horrific scenes, the way that they're attacking Ukrainian identity and culture. These are all things that are war crimes that Putin is responsible for. These are all things that are crimes against humanity, and that's why Canada was one of the first countries to move forward at the International Criminal Court to hold Vladimir Putin and his cronies responsible for what's going on in the illegal invasion of Ukraine, and we're also dispatching RCMP investigators to make sure that the full truth is known and that Putin be held fully to account. I think the moment that Vladimir Putin decided to pursue his illegal invasion of Ukraine that started in Crimea many years ago, but to move on Kyiv, we as democratic countries, as NATO, stood up with some of the strongest economic sanctions that anyone had ever seen against a major economy. And what that is having is an impact on the Russian economy, on Vladimir Putin and his cronies, is massive. And not only did we bring them in swiftly in an incredibly united way, but we are ready to hold them as long as we need for the coming months, the coming years if necessary, to make sure that Vladimir Putin loses in this attack on Ukraine. Because it's not just an attack on Ukraine, it's an attack on the values that underpin our free and democratic societies, that underpin the United Nations and the rule of law around the world. That's why the world has responded so strongly to this invasion, because it's not just about Ukraine, it's also about all of us and the values that we stand for within our societies. That's why we stepped up, not just with economic sanctions, but with direct military support for the Ukrainian military so that they can go and defend their land, their territory, their values, their culture, their language against these Russian invaders. We're there for humanitarian support, we're there for refugee support, we're there for economic support of the Ukrainian state. We're going to continue to stand strongly every single day to demonstrate that Putin made a terrible mistake with his choice to invade Ukraine, at the same time as we make sure that this conflict doesn't spread around the world. We need to make sure we keep it focused on Ukraine and continue to support Ukraine with everything we have.